What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of From the Source. Now, I haven't done From the Source in quite a while, but I wanted to bring it back with a little new twist. Now, as you guys know, I interview high school prospects, I interview college football players, I even interviewed Hayes Fawcett, the newsbreaker. But I wanted to bring a fresh perspective. I'm going to be interviewing today a member of not only a college football marching band, but the best damn band in the land, Nathan Greenberg. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
All right, it's good to have you on. I came up with this idea. I remember when we first started following me, I was like, I seen the picture. I was like, wait, is this guy in a marching band? And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever to be followed by somebody in the marching band for Ohio State. And we had a conversation about possibly doing an interview, and I really felt like what better of like a fresh perspective to have on the sport of college football than somebody in the marching band itself. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a member of the Ohio State marching band?
Absolutely. So I am a graduating senior at Ohio State. I'm studying honors finance. Um, I'm from Pittsburgh originally, so I got to be honest, I did not know a ton about college marching bands before I got to Ohio State. I knew a bit, but when I first got to OSU, I got to tour the band facilities, and man, I just fell in love. Um, I mean, it's such a great culture, and I went through the tryout process my freshman year, and I mean, it's surprisingly intense. I can't speak much to other universities, but I mean, it's a 2 or 4 day process depending on what year you are in the band. And I mean, they probably cut half the field. This past year, we had almost 400 people try out, and they take a little bit more than 200 every single time. And it's really intense, but I love it to death. I have so much fun, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's sweet. That's sweet. I always ask the high school prospects who are committed to schools, what made you decide to commit to the school? What made you decide to go to Ohio State or Oregon or whatever schools they decide to go to? As a student, what really stood out from you, what you being from Pennsylvania, what stood out to you when you came to Ohio State?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, OSU's campus is gorgeous. I toured several of the Big Ten schools. I mean, obviously, I looked at Penn State, I looked at Maryland, and OSU's main campus just head and shoulders above the rest. I I haven't seen one better than it in my all the places I've been, and I've traveled with the band to a couple different games. It's just an amazing campus. And like I said, I got an opportunity to in my university tour to tour the band facilities, which, as you might know, are actually in the stadium. So we practice in the shoe. That's not something many other universities offer their marching bands, and it's just an incredible facility. And I fell in love.
Nice. So you just said that you guys actually practice in the shoe, in a horseshoe. So you spent a ton of time there. What would you say your favorite memory of being in the horseshoe was?
Well, so the first year that I did make the band, certainly they read it off in the rehearsal room, and that's up there, top three memories all time. But I think that first touchdown pass to JJ against the Volunteers
Yeah.
in freezing cold weather, I think that beats it all. That was an incredible game to be at.
Yes. I think I was kind of like there was so many different things that like you've experienced. So this was your fourth year at Ohio State, right?
Yes, yes.
So you've gotten to see so many touchdowns. Touchdowns to Garrett Wilson, touchdowns to Chris Olave, touchdowns to Marv, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. So for that to be an experience that you got to witness, those are great, but like you were a part of the first ever home playoff game in the shoe. How
Exactly.
was that atmosphere?
Oh, it was electric. Electric doesn't even begin to describe it. I mean, the fact that the Volunteers got maybe close to a quarter of the stadium and it was still roaring.
Yeah.
I was incredible. I wish they were doing more night games in this shoe, frankly. I mean, it was insane. I mean, I could feel the stands shaking underneath of me. Playing down on the field for 100,000 people at halftime and pregame, the roar when we dotted the I, oh,
Yeah.
nothing like it.
Okay, I've heard so many different perspectives of how many volunteer fans were at that stadium because like some people were like, "Oh, they had 40%." Some people were like, "It really wasn't that many, but the orange really pops out." From your perspective, if you had to put a number, you said about a quarter. How many fans of Tennessee were really at that stadium?
Um, see, certainly no more than like 20,000. I don't think it was more than that.
Yeah,
Obviously I couldn't see behind the band into the student section,
yeah,
but they had maybe a quarter of the non-student section.
yeah.
Certainly a lot of students.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so obviously that was the first game was at home in the shoe. But after that, you guys traveled to Pasadena, California. You guys traveled to Texas, and then you guys were in Georgia. Of all of not even just the playoff round, but of all of the road games you guys go on, what was the best road trip and why?
Oh, um, I mean it's got to be the Natty.
Okay.
I love the Rose Bowl. It's a personal favorite of mine. I have family out in LA, so I've been to the Rose Parade before I was even in the marching band. But I mean, when we got to Atlanta, they were treating the band and the team like royalty. I mean, we were getting police escorts. It was, I mean, just another level up. I mean, bowl games were treated so incredibly well by all the staff, but the national championship was just another step up. I mean, they got us time in the Atlanta Aquarium, which is world class, just
Really?
to like have fun with ourselves and just the Notre Dame marching band, and they catered that. It was so much fun. I can't speak enough to how awesome that experience was.
Nice. I think I had a friend who literally traveled to Atlanta just to check out the aquarium. I heard it's like absolutely world class.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, you can't even describe it. I mean, they have just a giant tank with whale sharks in it because they can.
Wow, that is crazy. So you said that was your favorite experience. Can you tell me a little bit how travel works for the marching band itself for game days?
Absolutely. So we go to one or two in-season games a year, and for those, we'll go up maybe the night before if it's a noon game or the day of if it's an evening game. Like for Notre Dame, what was that, 23? We
Uh-huh.
went up the day of, and then stayed before coming back because it was a night game. We find a place to rehearse. Sometimes it's a high school. Sometimes the opposing band will lend us a field to practice on.
Okay.
Penn State was very nice with us, lending us the field. We practice. We go into the stadium. I got to be honest. Penn State was by far the best treatment of us. Uh, they got us field level tickets. Notre Dame and that team up north like to sit us all the way up in the upper end of the bowl where we can't see much.
Yeah.
But I always appreciate them having us because they could always not invite us.
Yeah.
But for bowl games, since we're the in season ends, we practice for a couple extended sessions. Sometimes football teams nice enough to actually let us use the WAC, which is always really cool. Certainly warmer than practicing outside in December. And then we'll fly out. Usually we fly with the cheer team, the dance team, and sometimes some of the freshmen that have committed in. I don't know how the rules work, but I think there's a rules issue there
Yeah.
with who can and can't travel with the team versus us.
Yeah.
Um, and then we spend a couple nights out there. They give us a per diem, and they really are. They treat us like adults, which is really awesome. Obviously, in high school they have to keep eyes on us all the time. But then we get into the stadium and they feed us, and we're locked in on game day at once it starts.
Nice. That sounds pretty cool. My next question would be, I remember when I first started watching Ohio State, I was in ninth grade. So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so I'm a big Browns fan. So it was pretty relieving to watch an Ohio football team that was good, right? But the biggest thing that stood out was like I would look on the internet to like consume like Ohio State content. I'm like new to this team back then in 2013. And the thing that would pop up to me was the band, like the crazy formations you guys would do. It was my favorite one of all time. Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk. I forgot which year that was, but that's crazy. So I wanted to know, what is your favorite thing that the Ohio State marching band has done?
In terms of halftime shows, I mean, the video game show before my time was absolutely insane. Sort of the advent of our current era of formations. But most recently, I loved our Led Zeppelin show. I thought the music was just incredible, and we do a lot of geometric formations in that one that are a lot of fun. Being on the field, it's a lot of fun to do. Some of those shapes,
Yes.
the stick figures look really cool and are a lot of fun performing, but they take a lot of practice to get them right. The geometric ones are a lot of fun too.
Yes. Speaking of formations and things like that, college football is all about tradition. It's every single program has their traditions, have things that just make the sport mean more, right? I
Yeah.
wanted to know, one of the biggest traditions at Ohio State, specifically the Ohio State marching band, is dotting the I, right? How does that get decided on who gets to dot the I at Ohio State?
Well, it's a I'll say complex process of seniority. I mean, first of all, it's only ever the sousaphones, and they march for 4 years before they're eligible to dot the I in that fourth year, and it's determined on the number of ramps that they've done
Nice.
over the course of their band career. So I'm finally I have one more year of eligibility, and I'm going to use it. So you know, so I have some friends that are going to be dotting this upcoming year, and so I got a good look into this process, and then they actually have a challenge process whenever there's a tie, because obviously with 8 home games, there are ties that happen in seniority, called a dot off, and they're very secretive about what that is, but there's a challenge process involved for who the best dotter is when there's a tie, and that's also used to decide postseason stuff. The best of the eye daughters are the ones, and the most senior are the ones that get to do that.
Okay. So the person who dotted the I for the home game against Tennessee, was that somebody who already had done it before, or was it a first timer?
I think it was someone who had done it before. I think we did double script, as
Okay.
I recall.
Okay.
They have very strict rules about who gets to dot in the shoe versus not in the shoe, and they
Yeah.
don't share it with the rest of the band all the time. It's a very sousaphone specific, closely held secret. But
Yeah.
they went through a long process of figuring out who was going to dot at each of those postseason games.
Yeah. I think another tradition, we talked about traditions, right? I think another tradition I really like is the I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but like I mean maybe is it band appreciation day? It's the practice you guys do when you guys practice with the team, like right before the team up north game. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So we call it Meet the Team Day,
Yeah.
and it's the Sunday before the game. And so we go into the whack and we play some fight songs for the team, and we play some stand tunes for the team, and then we do script once to show it to them, and then we actually do script with the team, and that's really cool. I marched last year. I got to march with Will Smith Jr.
Nice.
I know he lost his black stripe this past season. He was super cool to talk to.
Yeah.
Um, the quarterback usually dots the I or takes the drum major spot. I don't remember which one Will did. But I think Jack Sawyer dotted the I, as I recall. I'm not 100%,
Yeah.
but it's a really cool opportunity because some of the players then offer up some pictures with some of the band. I know that G. Scott took a moment to pray with some of the members of the band afterwards. It was a really cool experience to be there, and it's always interesting to see that side of the team as opposed to the like ready to go at it on the field.
Yeah. Okay, so from your perspective, obviously you've been at Ohio State for 4 years. So 2021 was your freshman year, correct?
Yeah, that was my freshman year.
So you've seen the teams with CJ Stroud at quarterback, with that wide receiver trio we had. You've seen teams with Marvin Harrison at the helm and guys like that. Obviously, every single year, Ohio State's team is very talented, but this is the season that Ohio State won a national championship. And I tried so hard not to say like we and stuff because I'm a big Ohio State fan, but I try to make unbiased content. But from your perspective, somebody who's at the games, you're there. What is the difference between this team and the other teams that made it a championship season?
You know, I'm not sure it's just one thing. I think that the energy that Ryan Day, right, he showed up at the beginning of the season and then again at that Tennessee game with just a spark about him. I can't even put my
Yeah,
finger on what it was. That he was just angry, and he was there to to take it out on the team across the field. And I think that he was locked in on it. But I think the other part of it too. I I, I love CJ. I think he's a fantastic quarterback, but he does not. He didn't. I think he does, and he's found it with the Texans. But he didn't when he was here have the same "I'm going to beat you" energy that Will Howard does. I mean, smoking the Signetti pass, Selly after that game. I I didn't see that coming. I don't think that wasn't CJ when he was here. And
yeah.
so I think that sort of energy was what was missing, and I think that the team figured out they needed some of that energy, and they went out and found it. And I think looking at the team, we've got some of that again, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for a strong season.
Yeah, I agree. I think Will Howard just has like that moxie, you know? He has
Exactly.
that
That's the
like,
word I'm looking for.
yeah, he's just ready to like lay it all out on the line. Like he comes out, he's settled in, but he's just like he's ready to go. Like he kind of has like that Baker Mayfield kind of like,
Yes. Yes, that's a great comment.
yeah, he wears it on his sleeves. He wears it on his sleeves. Win or lose, he's gonna wear it on his sleeves and he's gonna really like come about it with himself. Um, Obviously the marching band plays every single touchdown, right? So I want to see if you remember offhand the most you guys have had to play for scoring a touchdown in a home game in the shoe. I want to see if we come up. I have a team name in mind, but I want to see if we come up with the same team
This past season or over the last 4 seasons?
in your last 4 seasons.
Michigan State, where CJ hung 50 on him in the first half.
2020. Yeah, that's the one I had. That's the one I had. It was 42 to zip at halftime.
That was a heck of a game.
That was a heck of a game. Um, and I gotta know. I'm gonna ask everybody affiliated with Ohio State. Obviously, I interview a lot of Ohio State guys. Everyone affiliated with Ohio State, I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna keep a tally like in my head. I might even put it in a video. Give me your Mount Rushmore of Ohio State wide receivers. You've watched
Ooh.
a lot of great ones.
Oh, all right. So I think I got to put JJ up there
Okay.
after
Already Jeremiah Smith.
third Jeremiah. I Yeah, he's got to be up there. I mean, holding. I think I got to put Mac up there too.
Okay.
I mean, it takes dedication to be that kind of leader and to get that many catches. Um, I only get 4 picks, or do I get 5?
Mount Rushmore, you only get four.
Uh,
You can give an honorable
oh,
mention. We'll let you give an honorable mention.
um, I mean, it's going to be guys in the last 4 years. We've had good receivers before, but I'm trying to figure out which of Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Marvin Harrison I'm leaving off the Mount Rushmore, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, I whew, I think I'll go. Let's go Garrett Wilson and Marv. I think Chris Olave was great, but he did not. Garrett Wilson was the guy in 21,
Yeah.
in my
But
opinion.
you did leave off a guy who did lead the team in catches and yards in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
JSN was so good in that Rose Bowl in
Yeah.
21. But I remember, I mean, my first rant ever was that Notre Dame game where he pulled his hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just losing that season, he
Yeah.
might be one of the top 5 most talented, but the
Yeah.
fact that he lost that entire season, I don't think I can qualify him as top
Yeah.
five at Ohio. He might be top five produced top five.
Yeah. Just because we never got to see the best version of Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like that game,
Exactly.
I'd
Exactly.
say that game was so perfect at the Rose Bowl because obviously it was a very entertaining game. It was back and forth. Ohio State's defense wasn't very good that year, so it was a high scoring affair, obviously. But down the stretch, like CJ to Jack Smith and Jigba, it was like perfect. It was like nothing can go wrong. Like I don't think from all the football I've watched, I don't think I've seen a better connection than CJ Stroud to Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I agree with you there. That was an incredible game. It's why I was so excited for the next season and so heartbroken
Yeah.
when he got. Um, I will say the game it reminds me of is the Trey Sermon game against Northwestern.
Whoa.
I think it's the same energy where that guy is just dialed and there's nothing they can do,
It's not.
and
It's
you can
nothing.
feel it from the first quarter.
Yeah. It's like a 3 point shooter getting hot. Like it's nothing you can do.
Exactly,
Just put your hands up and just hope for the best.
exactly.
So from like great memories to maybe a bad memory, could you tell me what was possibly the worst weather game you've had to endure at Ohio State in your 4 years?
Hmm. I don't think we've had a game that's poured on us yet. Um, it, it might be either the game in 24 or the Tennessee game,
Okay.
where it was just frigid. I mean, couldn't feel my hands.
Yeah.
Wishing I had triple the number of hand warmers I had. Frigid,
Yeah.
instruments freezing solid. It was cold.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys, everybody in that stadium were the only people who've experienced a December game in the shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tennessee, were you on the field when the Tennessee players came out warming up with no shirts on? Were you there for that?
So we were up on the ramp, but we did see before. So before we do skull session, we actually line up on the field to march out skull, and we
Yeah.
saw Nico and whoever their backup quarterback is. I must admit, I don't know Tennessee's team all that well.
Yeah.
Um, Warming up in like tank tops, and I was looking at them and raising my eyebrows.
Yeah. I think Will Howard, he did an interview with Gruden and he said they ran across the field to warm up with no shirts, and as soon as they got out to the other side of the field, they just put their shirts right back on.
That's the clips I've seen. It was a heck of a quote, as I recall, from
Yeah.
Will there.
So, last question to wrap things up. The last game of the season, like you said, it was your favorite trip, the national championship game in Atlanta. When Jeremiah Smith, 3rd and 11, right? Third and forever, when he pulled down that ball and you guys knew we're winning the national championship, how did that feel?
I mean, I was in shock a little bit. I I hadn't been able to see him the angle we were at. I thought he was covered. I couldn't tell that he was wide open until I
Why?
looked up on the board because the in stadium boards were looking at Will almost getting sacked.
Yeah,
And I was terrified. And then that just turns to elation. We jump out of our seats, and oh my lord, there's nothing like it. I mean, I adrenaline rush to the moon. In fact, I mean, we were um we were almost ready to start playing before we realized there was another second there that we had to wait. And
yeah.
I mean, the band as a whole, and we had some students on either side of us. I mean, it was just screaming. I couldn't hear anything for the longest time.
Yeah, that has to be an amazing feeling.
Oh.
You had a great experience in your 4 years so far at Ohio State. You still got one more left. But wrapping this up, kind of talk about Nathan Greenberg instead of just Ohio State. How has this experience being a part of the best damn band in the land shaped your college and life experience?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I have a family in the marching band and the marching band alumni that I didn't have when I got to Ohio State. I love them all forever. They're fantastic. But even even beyond that, I mean, the discipline we practice for 20 hours with the marching band and another 10 to 15 on our own in any given week to be ready for game day. And I think it's instilled a level of discipline that I didn't have beforehand. I wouldn't be where I am at in terms of my academics or my personal life discipline if I didn't have the marching.
Nice. It's always good to know that that journey that you went on and these experiences that you've gone through has shaped you in a positive way and something that you can take away from it. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the first episode in a long time of From the Source. We're going to be dropping another episode, hopefully every Wednesday if I can keep on getting guests. And remember, like and comment and subscribe for more college football content.